All right, IM1 classes. Today we are moving on with our geometry. We're going to learn about the building blocks of geometry, basically. We're going to talk about what are called the undefined terms. So this lesson, not a whole lot of math as you typically think of it involved. We're not going to be solving equations, that sort of thing. It's mostly definitions that we're talking about today. Starting off with the undefined terms. So there are three terms in geometry that are referred to as undefined terms. These are terms with no formal definition, but there's an agreed upon meaning of what they are. And these are things that you basically know what they are. There's point, line, and plane. Those are the three undefined terms, and these are the building blocks of pretty much everything we deal with in what's called Euclidean geometry. So we're talking about shapes, right? Geometry at the very basic is the study of shapes. The point, line, and plane are what make these shapes, all right? So let's talk about what these things are. So a point, we all understand what a point is. You make a little point. What a point is in geometry, it marks a specific location. We say it has no dimension and is just represented by a dot. So here's an example. I should probably fix that so it actually says example. An example of a point. We label it with a letter to name it. So we have point P, the name of this, because the names of these figures in geometry are very important. How we name things, it is important. So we have these things with the name, so we just call it point P. That's simple. So a point is a building block of pretty much everything we deal in geometry. Everything, all the shapes have points, either at corners of the shapes. We say a line is just all the points extended in two directions. And actually, let's talk about a line. So the line is the other undefined term. So a line is created by 2 points that are connected with a straight path. So when we're talking about a line, it can't be curved. No curves, no circles, nothing like that, no bends. A line is a straight path. It extends on forever in both directions. And so that's what the arrowheads are for here, showing that it extends on forever in both directions. So we have our 2 points, MN, the line, again, a straight path between those, extending on forever. Bunch of different ways to name this line. First, we can actually just write the word line, MN, or line, NM. The order of which you put the points doesn't matter. There's line L. So sometimes you'll see lines labeled with a lowercase italicized letter. You can name the lines using that letter at the end. So this could also just be referred to as line L. And then when we, to simplify everything, you can write the letters of the points and put an actual line on top of it, 2 arrowheads. The lines have 2 arrowheads. So make sure if you're labeling the line, you put 2 arrowheads. And again, this is one of those things where the order of the letters does not matter. MN and NM, the same. All right. The other undefined term, the next one is a plane. So a plane is a flat surface, has no thickness, it extends on forever in all directions. All right. Typically, when we represent a plane in a textbook or on a worksheet, we show it as a parallelogram like this. You need 3 points to create a plane. So you get 3 points that are not on the same line. You can put a plane around it and it extends on forever. And so you just think of it as a flat surface extending forever and ever and ever. One of the things that you hear referred to a lot of times is in sports, particularly football, when they say like the football needs to break the plane of the end zone to count. So the plane that they're talking about is this imaginary flat surface that extends from the two pylons at the end, the goal pylons. And so as long as the football crosses that plane, because it's extending up in football, the plane ends at the pylons, at the out of bounds markers. But if it breaks through that plane, then it is, it would be considered a touchdown. So that's when you hear people talking about breaking the plane, like in football, that's what they're talking about here. So plane, how to name these things. So just like a line, you can have a italicized letter in the corner of the plane so you refer to it as plane R. Notice how this R doesn't have a point next to it because this is not point R. This is not a point. It's just this is to label the plane. And then we have the points X, Y, and Z all in this plane. So you can name it based on those points as plane X, Y, Z. Again, you can reorder it. It could be plane ZYX, plane YZX, you know, as long as you have those 3 points in there. If there's more than 3 points in the plane, you can use any 3 points to name it. But you need to use 3 points to name a plane. And I think that covers that for planes. A segment. So here are the things that are actually, they're built with lines and points. These are actually defined terms. So there's the segment, and this is a portion of a line with 2 endpoints. So it's just like a line, but you cut off those arrowheads. This segment, it ends at the actual endpoints. It does not go past that. For this, there are 2 ways to name, or a few different ways to name the segment. So it's segment ST, segment TS. So again, you can flip-flop the order of these letters, or just like we did with the line, you can write the names of the points ST with just the line segment on it. Notice how it doesn't have the arrowheads at the end of here because it's a segment. So if it's a segment, make it a segment on top, no arrowheads. All right. The next figure we're talking about is a ray. So a ray is a portion of the line with 1 endpoint that extends on forever in 1 direction. So it's so this one has an endpoint at A, extends past B. All right. When we write this out, ray AB, again, you can do that, or AB with the line over it. Notice here, I don't have BA with the line over it because order matters here. So this is telling us the ray on top of the letters AB is telling us where the ray starts. So it starts at A and extends past B forever. All right, so it does matter. The order on this one does matter. So make sure you're paying attention to that. All right, next term, collinear. Collinear, don't overthink this one. This means all on the same line. So linear means line, co means the same or with, right? So collinear means on the same line. Examples of this, A, B, and C are all collinear. You can connect all 3 points with the same line. That's simple. Points D, E, F are not collinear because you can't connect all 3 points with the same line, all right? And that's all it is. So collinear means on the same line. You can connect all the points. If we're saying those points are collinear, you can connect all of them with a single line, all right? Next, so coplanar, so points that are on the same plane. So similar, we have points G, E, O, and B are all coplanar. You can see they're on this pink plane here. All right, but then G, E, O, and L are not coplanar because they're not all on the same. So G, E, O are on this pink plane, but L is on the green plane. So it's not all the same. They're not all coplanar. So yeah, again, if they're coplanar, you can put them all on the same plane. So let's see if you're paying attention. Let's look at this. Name the figure. What is the name of this figure? Think about what this means. I'll talk about it in a second. Give your guess. Give you a minute. What do you think? All right. So the correct answer on this one is line RS. This is the only one that works for this. This one here, because it doesn't have the arrowheads on top, this is segment RS, but this is a line because it is extending on in both directions here. Line S and line R do not work because you can't name the line based on just one of the points. You need both points. If there was a letter off to the side here, like the other one was an L, so if it put an L here, we could call it line L because it's labeling the line, but because these letters are labeling the points, you can't call the line by those, all right? So just make sure you're paying attention to what the letter is labeling and what it is naming there. Name this figure. So give you a second to think about it. What do you think is the name for this one? So this one, the correct answer is D. Line A, B. All right, or excuse me, ray AB. This is a ray. It has an endpoint, extends on forever in one direction. It can't be A because this is a line. It has two arrowheads. So this is line AB, so it's not A. This is segment AB, doesn't have the arrowheads. This is ray BA, all right? Our ray is starting at A, extending past B. This would be going the opposite direction. It would be starting at B and extending past A, so that doesn't work. Order matters for the ray, so make sure you have it in correct order. So this one is ray AB, starting at A, extending past B, right? And now last, name this figure. I'll give you a second. You can pause the video to look at it. All right, this one is this one right here, segment DC. So this is line CD. So this one doesn't have arrowhead, so it can't be A because this is line CD. And this one, our figure here is an extending. It's not C. This is ray CD. It's not extending past one direction here, so it can't be CD again. Line CD here doesn't work because again, this is just a segment. And notice how it's segment DC and not segment CD. Again, it doesn't matter. You could have it as segment CD, or if you wanted to write it, the order for a segment does not matter. This could also be segment CD. So the assignment is more questions like this, just matching up terms and diagrams and that sort of thing and Edulastic. So get started on that assignment. If you have any questions, please email me and we will see you guys next time.